Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is Guide for round 27 of the Nations Cup. Let's get this started. Quick note, for the Ferrari 458 Italia, you're going to be staying on 6th gear for a majority of this lap, unless if you're under slipstream or you're going down the hill just up ahead. But anyways, all you want to do for this lap is stay right around the dash marks on the leftmost side of the track. And at the 5,000 meter mark, that is when you put your hands up pretending that you are on a really cool roller coaster ride. But wait until you reach 253 miles per hour or 408 kilometers per hour before you go up to 7th gear. Make sure you do not delay your reaction like how I did, as that could potentially mean that you may end up hitting the rev limiter, which will end up slowing you down. So you're going to stay at 7th gear until your speed goes down to 253 miles per hour or 408 kilometers per hour. So that's going to occur at around the 9,300 meter mark. So once you reach this point right here, you'll be reaching 253 miles per hour, and you go back down to 6th gear and remain there for the rest of the lap. Now for the bank turn, you just want to try to turn in as smoothly as possible, still going at full throttle, and just try to stick with the dash marks, the lane markers that are on the leftmost side of the track. Don't go too far up to risk colliding with the wall, and don't go too far down where the bank turns won't help you out as much there. Just try to stick around the dash marks on the leftmost side of the track and get ready for the bank turn to end, as the car might end up pulling you towards the wall. So we're just going to fast forward through this, just going at hyper speed. Stay on that lane marker, the dash marks that I keep on mentioning. And once again, just gently turn in for this bank turn, staying on that dash mark, the lane markers on the leftmost side of the track. And once again, don't go too far up and don't go too far down. Just try to stick around this area where I'm at. And just like the end of the first bank turn, this end of the bank turn will also pull you in a little bit to the left, so just get ready to counteract that. But yeah, you basically only want to be on 7th gear whenever you're under someone's slipstream or when you're going down the hill and you're by yourself. But anyways, that is it for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about the strategies. Before I go to the qualifying strategy, I do want to note that the cars are using unique transmission and power and weight settings, so you want to make sure that you have it all set correctly. So for example, with the 458 Italia's transmission, all you need to do is bring the top speed all the way to the right side and then bring the final gear down to 4.580. For its power, it is at 144%. And its weight is at 86%. So all you need to do are adjust the power and weight settings, the top speed auto set, and the final gear. You do not adjust anything else. But anyways, going on to the qualifying session, you'll only have 7 minutes to try to get a good qualifying time. And well, the tire multiplier is at 0. The fuel multiplier is at 0 for both the qualifying and the race. So all you have to do is just go all out and try to get that good old slipstream. So don't forget that the slipstream is set to quote unquote weak, which is actually really strong. So you're going to want to stay under that slipstream because your car will go even faster compared to the slipstream setting being set to real. And the range of the slipstream is also pretty large here. It's more than 1.5 seconds if I recall correctly. So if you're falling a little behind, you can definitely catch up to those ahead of you. So for the outlap, it's just going to be all about just trying to position yourself correctly. That way you can enter your first and only qualifying lap going as fast as you can. This uphill section is going to be pretty painful here, so if you're not the one getting the slipstream, just be aware that your time might end up suffering from that. Now the tricky part is going to be trying to do the bump drafting, since this penalty system is a little stupid. But if you're going to try to bump draft someone, try to be extremely careful about it. That way you don't get them or yourself a penalty. So one way to try to go about that is to ease out the throttle just before you're about to bump them. That way the speed difference between yourself and the car ahead of you when you bump them is going to be extremely minimal. However, I am not too confident with this just because of how stupid the penalty system is. So even the tiniest little bumps can potentially trigger a penalty or even an SR down. So it's something that you really want to be careful with. And if you do not feel comfortable bump drafting, I don't blame you. I would just do the slingshot method where you just go really fast and just go around the car that you're getting the slipstream from if possible. Hey, that car doesn't even belong in this race. Alright, so for the race strategy, this is a super obvious no stop since both the tire and fuel multipliers are turned off. So some things that you need to keep in mind. One, you want to always have the radar on. So on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see the multi-function display and I have it set to radar. So you can adjust it with the D-pad on your DS4 controller to change it between the brake balance, traction control, the radar, and other things. Yeah, so you want to press D left and right if I remember correctly to change it to radar. That way you can see what the heck is going on around you and if anyone's going to pull a sneaky on you. 2, yeah, slipstream is strong. It's on weak, and even though it's on weak, it's actually really strong. So as you saw through this clip, I was able to quickly catch up to the cars ahead until I ended up getting ahead, and now I don't have any of the slipstream anymore. So the radar is doing its work. I have a good idea of what's going on around me, and you can also change the camera views whenever you want to. That way you can try to get a better assessment of what is going on around you, and if you're going to bump draft someone, you can have a better camera view through the roof camera, let's say, to see how fast or slow you are approaching the car ahead of you to initiate that bump draft. And the biggest thing of all is to try not to die in this race, because oh my goodness, that stuff is going to end up happening in your race, and your goal is to try not to be part of that mess. Oh god, I really don't know what's going to happen on Tuesday. And as I mentioned in the qualifying session, you want to be super careful when bump drafting, because that could initiate a penalty or an SR down with how stupid the whole penalty system is right now. Unless they turn off the penalty system for this race, which I hope they do, because if not, there are going to be so many SR downs and SR resets. But anyways, this race is going to be a lottery. It's going to be anyone's race until the very end. So you want to try to position yourself perfectly and time it perfectly to try to sneak away with that first place win at the very end. And yeah, once again, you just want to try to be super careful when you're doing this race and just try to survive. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this guide. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA trying to survive this race, and I'll see you in the next video.